is Sam from Singing Farms, and just the other day I was at a maple syrup farm located in Chester, New Hampshire, where I had the great opportunity to interview Ryan Neal. And the interesting thing about Ryan Neal, who owns the maple Sugar Shack, which he calls Ryan's Sugar Shack, the interesting thing is that he's only 17 years old, but make no mistake about it, although he's only 17, he takes his farm very seriously and treats it as a business. The interview was very informative, so I just want to share with you guys, and if you like what I'm doing, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll make sure to post below the information to Ryan's Sugar Shack, his website, and his Facebook. If you're interested in getting to know and contacting him maybe for some maple syrup or some consultation about setting up your own lateral lines, which he also does. Yeah, I'll put the information below. Again, if you like what I'm doing, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and okay, I hope you guys enjoy the interview. Here you go. Hello again. So here I am with Ryan Neal. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, very good. So I'll just start off asking you, so tell us what it is that you do here.
Yeah, so I run a maple sugaring business in Chester, New Hampshire, where I tap over 1,000 trees, and all throughout the woods I have over 100 acres of land that I tap from, and I collect maple sap and process it in this facility here from the trees, pure maple sap, and boil it down into maple syrup.
Nice. Now, one of the things that I saw on your website that inspired me was that it says that you actually started doing this when you were 13 years old.
Yeah, I did actually, and I wasn't always this big. I started with just a couple trees in the backyard, but I grew each year, and this year was a big expansion. I bought a new evaporator and a whole bunch of new equipment, and trying to go more commercial on it now.
Okay. Just so people can get to know you a little bit more. So I saw that it says that you started by just tapping the maple trees at your backyard and all that. But really, how did you go about? Were you thinking about just doing it as a hobby, or?
I really just started it with friends, and like doing maple sugaring, making a little bit of maple syrup for friends and family. Didn't really have any intentions of selling it or growing it into a business, but it just, each year I grew a little bit, and then a couple of years ago I kind of saw that I could make it run into a business if I wanted to. And I can grab some pictures right there from when I was younger. You can see those right there.
Yeah, there you are. Little boy starting up a business.
Yeah. Obviously it's a lot different now.
Yeah, it looks awesome. From a hobby to a business. It's pretty impressive. Actually, I just have a few questions. I'm kind of wondering, what is peak season? I see that you are shutting down for the season. What is peak season?
Yeah, so I put in taps February 9th this year. It's generally from middle of February to end of April, or beginning of April, sorry. Normally about 6 weeks in the springtime, end of winter, early spring is normally when maple sugaring season happens.
Okay, so what are you, during the off season, how are you getting ready for this peak season? What are you doing? So now you're shutting down, right?
Yeah, so I'm shutting down. So before the season, I'm setting up lines in the woods. I'm getting all my equipment out to the trees, because that's where everything happens. Taking all the sap from the trees. It takes a lot of sap to make a gallon of syrup. So
how many?
I was averaging about 60 to 1 this year. So
okay.
60 gallons of sap to 1 gallon of syrup.
A lot of gallons.
But before the season, setting up lines, getting everything ready to go. Then beginning of the season, I'm out in the woods tapping trees, so drilling a hole in the tree and running it into the tubing. And throughout the season, I'm collecting, boiling. That's my very busy season. And then after the season, pulling taps, cleaning all the equipment. There's a lot of work on either end that goes into it, even though it's just a short season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of work. I'm actually trying to start a market farm on my own property. I'm doing rabbits, etc., and I didn't realize just how much work is behind the scenes. What would you say are your biggest costs and the biggest challenges for doing something like this?
So I would say I'm doing this all myself. There aren't people with the skill sets that I have to install tubing and everything. There's not many people that know how to do that. So my biggest thing is just having enough time to set up all my tubing. And then of course the sheer equipment cost itself. Large equipment like this is expensive for a startup business. It's like any small farm, getting into it is kind of expensive. But
yeah, so I see a lot of stuff here, pretty fancy stuff. So what are the main equipment for running a maple syrup business?
so this is your maple evaporator here. It's one of the biggest in southern New Hampshire. It's a 3x12 wood-fired evaporator, so you put wood in the bottom. I can show you, I can open it up. Put wood in the bottom there, and you burn a lot of wood. I go through about 25 cords in a season.
Wow.
And you put all your sap into this rig, which removes the water and leaves the sugar, and you draw it off, and then I have a filtering unit, filter press over there, and a few finishing units that I bottle off of.
Yeah, once we're done, I'll take a few shots of what you got going on over there, but it's pretty impressive what you got going on here. I also wanted to see, so can you speak a little bit about your market streams? Because that's one of the challenges that I'm finding. I'm realizing that I could buy all the seeds that I want, I could plant all the seeds that I want, I can harvest all the vegetables that I want, but if I don't get rid of them, it's like, you know, I'm nowhere. So how do you advertise? Where's your profit coming from? How are you getting your syrup out there?
So that's really one of the biggest struggles of small businesses in this state anyways, is trying to find people to buy your products. And I'm producing a lot more now, so I try to retail as much as I can during the season here. There's Maple Weekend. Take advantage of the special season, the special events that are around whatever crop you produce.
Yep.
But I'm in a few small stores in the state also, a few local ones, and then I do online sales. And then
I saw that.
And then I also do advertising on Facebook, which is becoming a better and better resource.
Oh yeah. Now, are you doing any farmers market or anything like that?
Right now, I try to go to a couple of them. I don't know which ones I'll be in, but that's also a really good resource for small businesses. But I'm trying to target the smaller stores now to distribute to them, and because I don't produce the product to go into a market basket or any of those yet.
So do you feel like it's actually starting to pick up a lot more than before? I saw on your website that it says you're in 2018 have a plan to aggressively update certain things and move ahead even more, advanced more than where you were. So is that because you've been getting a lot of interest all of a sudden, or is it just because you're really just more motivated? Yeah,
so the global market really is growing for maple syrup, but I have the resources now, I have the equipment, so I'm in the middle of that expansion plan to really grow up my tap count. But the global market is also growing, so it's a great news for anyone producing maple syrup in the Northeast right now.
Awesome. So maybe you could take a minute to talk about your products. What is it that you offer? Do you offer 3 to 4 ounce bottles, 32 ounce bottles?
Yeah, so I offer a whole bunch of different sizes. I do 5 different sizes, 3.4 ounce to 64 ounce or half gallon. So these are my 2 popular sizes, quart and pints. You can get these on my website or stop in here. But this is all pure New Hampshire maple syrup. And, I do a few gift products also.
Now, are these plastic?
Yep, yeah. This is plastic. I bottle in plastic jugs. It's cheapest method for me, and basically all your syrups produced in plastic. But I also do glass bottles this year too, which really showcases your product, how clear it is. But those are my products.
And I'm sure if somebody has a particular interest of a different kind of bottle and they come to you, you can probably figure out a way to make it for that person, something.
Yeah, normally if you have a special request, I can normally accommodate. But I offer 5 different bottle sizes over there. So.
Awesome. I also saw on your website that you have 2 other services. You do consultation and you do tubing setups. maybe you want to talk a little bit about that and what it is that you can do for other people that want to start up.
Yeah, so I mean there really aren't many people that know how to install tubing or work on this equipment, so I'm one of the few in this area, so I like to offer those services to people. And I can install a tubing system, which would be lines out of the trees that you can take a look at after.
Yep.
But I offer to install those and teach people how to do it because it is a kind of a new technology. And then also install equipment, like put this evaporator together. There's a lot of pieces to it, so I offer those services for people, other producers.
Sweet. So hey, you told me 60 to 1 is what you were averaging.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if there's anybody that might watch this video that's interested in tapping trees somewhere and they really want to turn it into a business. What would you say is the minimum amount of trees that they should be starting off with to take it seriously?
I mean, to take it seriously, you really need a minimum of 500 or so to cover your startup equipment costs, your fees for your bottles, because there are certain legal requirements for maple sugaring.
Okay.
But I would say a minimum of about 500 if you're going to be selling legally and covering all your legal stuff as well as producing a safe product for the consumer.
Wow.
It goes into this machine here, a maple evaporator, which goes in the back end on the top pipe and runs through the back pan where 85–90% of the boiling happens. Into the front pan where just really the finishing happens, and then I draw off on this side with an automatic draw off unit which gets it really close to syrup, and then from there I take it off of here into this finishing unit which I monitor and I bring it up to the legal standard of 66.9% bricks.
Is that New Hampshire's legal as well? I know Vermont is 66.9.
Yeah, that's New Hampshire. That's a standard
okay.
for all maple products for Canada and the U.S. But I take it off of there. After that, this is all happening hot above 200 degrees. It runs through this filter press where you take out sugar sands and other things that come out during the boiling process, because the sap is filtered before it enters this machine, but certain particulates come out of solution.
Now, is the filtering process, I'm pretty sure you started with buckets or pails before.
Yeah.
Is the filtering process a lot easier on your equipment or better now that you're in the using tubing, or?
I mean, really the buckets are tubing. Your sap is cleaner before it goes in the evaporator with using tubing. But before I was using a different filtering type.
Okay.
I was using a gravity filter. So basically like a wool type of filter, you put your syrup in there, let it run through.
Yep.
But filtering is a necessary process, otherwise you get a cloudy syrup and it can have an off flavor. So that's basically this unit is all the syrup's forced through 16 filter plates at high pressure. And then it goes over to a canning unit here, which I bottle off of and bottle my product straight into the bottles, and that all happens at about 190 degrees. It goes into these big tanks here where I pump into, and these tanks feed the evaporator when it's running. I have over 2,000 gallons of storage here, so I fill all these up and then feed the evaporator with it, and that's how I am able to run consistently for a day.
Do you ever have these tanks full to the brim?
On a good day, yeah, they can be filled up, which that one's 1,500 gallons and there's 600 gallons up top.
Nice.
So it's a lot of sap.
Now, where's the pressure coming from?
So all of this is just gravity fed into the evaporator.
Wow.
But I pump into these at the beginning of the day, and then throughout the day I pump into the upper tanks. That's why they're elevated above the building.
Okay. Nice.
Just so it can gravity feed in. And these lines collect all the sap and bring it down to a central point for me to collect. And I'm running this by myself, so this is the only way I could manage over 1,000 trees is with a tubing system like this. And I have over 20 miles of these lines up throughout my sugar bushes, which all the trees in the woods. And if you take a look out here, this is my smaller sugar bush.
Yep.
There's about 5 miles of tubing out here.
Wow.
And about 400 trees. And I pump out of the tanks that these collect into every day. And these lines are actually under a vacuum pressure,
Okay.
which sucks the sap down there, increasing your yields.
Okay, so it does increase the yield as opposed to the pails or buckets?
Yeah, and if you have worse weather, that's not as good for maple sugaring, because you want around 20 degrees at night, 20s at night, and upper 30s to 40 during the day.
So hot in the day, cold in the night?
Yeah, basically. And really, if you don't get those perfect temperatures, the vacuum helps overcome that. So you still have good sap runs during the day.
So how often do you think you need to change these tubings?
I clean these at the end of each season, but
how do you do that?
I force water through them. I just use water.
Okay, yep.
Use chemicals, but I don't like to put them in.
No.
So basically, I clean them at the end of each season, but they're good for 15 years.
Oh wow!
And they stay up. And at the end of the season, you're just going to take your tap out of the tree like that, so the tree can heal, and then it just stays here till the next season.
Now, you said heal. How many times or how long can a tree be tapped for?
So a tree can really be tapped its entire life if you tap it responsibly, which means you're starting when the tree is old enough, around 30 or 40 years old, before you can start tapping it. And then you're going to tap in a spiral pattern around the tree itself, and that just spreads out the tap holes so you don't damage any one part of the tree too much and reduce sap. So all the sap that comes through these lines collects in this location here, where it goes into this pump house, where the sap and air mixture in the lines is separated because the vacuum pump can only handle air. So you take the sap out of that vacuum and it collects in one of these tanks. And this is similar to other systems I have in other sugar bushes. And that's how I collect all my sap, and I pump out of that tank every single day.
Okay, so when you offer the tubing services, setting it up for people,
yep.
What exactly is that? Is that just putting the lateral lines up for them, or is it the whole system? You'll do it all as long as they want it.
Yeah, so I'll do the whole system from, they can just give me an area of woods, and I can design a tubing system that works best for that woods, that'll be most cost effective and produce the most syrup. And
can you do only flat land? Can you do steeps? Can you do...
I can do flat or steeps. Like this is a flat property here, you can tell.
Yep.
So that's why I vacuum on it.
Yep.
But this system produces a lot. I think it was close to 7,000 gallons of sap out of the system this
Awesome.
year. And I install everything, the laterals, the main lines, run it into a pump house, set up your pump lines. I can really do everything. I do it all myself for my systems.